This is the story of a man who lived alone in a small 8th-floor apartment. He kept to himself, worked from home, didn't socialize much. He liked it that way. Quiet, predictable, safe. But all of that changed when something or someone started leaving handprints on the inside of his locked apartment. And what he eventually discovered on his camera footage, well, it still keeps me up at night. It began with something small, barely worth noticing, really. One morning he got out of bed, walked into the living room, and saw a smudge on the glass balcony door. It looked like a handprint, just a light, foggy outline, the kind that forms when you breathe on glass. He assumed he had left it there himself. Maybe the night before, maybe absent-mindedly while pacing around. So he wiped it off, didn't think twice. But the next morning, it was there again. Only this time, it was different. This new handprint wasn't in the same spot. It was higher, wider. The fingers were spread unnaturally far apart. He stared at it, confused, tried matching his own hand to the print, but it was noticeably larger. Still, he came up with 100 reasons why it had to be his. Condensation. Maybe he touched it without realizing. Maybe it was old. But when it happened for the third morning in a row, he couldn't ignore it anymore. Because this time, the handprint was lower, near the base of the glass, as if someone had crouched down and pressed their hand against the door while staring out into the city. And remember, he lived on the 8th floor. There was no fire escape, no balcony railing, just a sheer drop. Now he was worried, not terrified, but definitely unsettled. He cleaned the glass thoroughly that night. He even placed a thin piece of masking tape across the door handle, thinking that if someone did open it, the tape would tear. Then he went to bed, anxious but hopeful. In the morning, the tape was still there, perfect, undisturbed. But when he turned around, the handprint had returned. Same shape, same size, same smudge. But it wasn't on the glass anymore. It was on the bathroom mirror. That's when the sounds began. Not voices, not exactly. Just faint, unintelligible murmurs. Sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes just before he drifted off to sleep. He tried blaming the neighbors. He lived in an older building. Maybe the walls were thinner than he thought, but the sounds were too close. They came from inside the room. Sometimes, just behind him. At one point, he left his phone recording overnight. He didn't catch anything intelligible, just static, the hum of the fridge. And at one point, a sharp inhale, like someone had just entered the room. He decided to take it a step further. He bought 2 motion-activated cameras. One was pointed at the glass door, the other in the hallway facing the bathroom. He wanted to believe he'd catch himself. Sleepwalking, maybe. That would make it easier to explain everything away. The first 2 nights, nothing happened. No handprints, no movement, no whispers. But on the 3rd night, the footage changed everything. At exactly 2:41 a.m., the living room camera turned on. There he was, standing silently in front of the balcony door. His eyes were open, but his expression was blank. He didn't move like himself. His posture was rigid. His arms hung limp at his sides. Then, slowly, he raised his right hand, pressed it to the glass, held it there, let it fog. Then he turned and walked away, toward the bathroom. But just before he left the frame, the camera caught something else. Another figure, barely visible in the corner, tall, thin, motionless. Standing behind him, its head tilted, as if watching him closely. He doesn't remember any of it. Not getting up, not the handprint, not the pacing. He cleaned the mirror again, wiped the door, deleted the footage. But the prints kept returning. Some mornings there were multiple. One on the glass, one on the mirror, one on the kitchen window. And the last one he found wasn't on any surface at all. It was above him, on the ceiling, right above where he sleeps. He reached up to touch it. It was still warm.